Hey, Andrea Delgado here. I'm going to be talking about ethical violations and board discipline. The article that I read was from Wilkinson et al. 2019, which discussed um, different ethical complaints that brought counselors to disciplinary actions through their boards. The top items, the top reasons why these cases occurred were for failure to acquire the appropriate amount of continuing education, dual relationships, sexual and non-sexual, and misrepresentation of credentials. I went through the Florida State Board website and found several cases um, that talked about different kinds of ethical issues that were brought to the board. When I read the the both cases and the article, there were things that were very much the same. Whereas the article didn't go into detail on what the disciplinary actions were, it did talk about how state by state it really varied, and how most states were seeking disciplinary actions to help counselors get back on board with their counseling profession in a safe manner. So once they, met the requirements, they could go back to their profession and continue. So as far as the case that I read, the behavior that led to the discipline was failing to meet minimum standards of performance in mental health counseling. Because it didn't go into great detail on what that really meant, the discipline action was to pay two different fines. One was for $1,500, the other one was $3,000, and they had a time frame to pay that. Continuing education, 6 credit hours in ethics and boundaries, and 8 in laws and rules, and that had to be completed within 180 days. And then the last thing that was discipline action was to no longer supervise any registered interns or provisional licensees. So in regards to where is that covered in the ACA Code of Ethics, I believe looking into Section C, where it talks about continuing education, professional qualifications, accurate representation, and credentials. And then also in Section F, where it talks about supervising others. So those are the areas that it talked about. So as far as counselor impairment, it is covered in the Code of Ethics C2G, and where it's really the counselor's responsibility to monitor themselves for signs of impairment, and that can be in physical, mental, or emotional problems, and being aware of that, seeking assistance when it's necessary, also being open to a colleague telling you, hey, you might be experiencing these things, and doing the same for other colleagues or even supervisors when appropriate. The whole purpose in this is to prevent imminent harm to clients. The Florida statute 456.076 is all about impaired in practitioner programs. So there are specific programs in the state of Florida to support practitioners who are seeking the support. They put that the program really consists of a consultant that they're appointed to, and that consultant will lead them through that. There will be no impairment is no grounds for discipline in the state of Florida, as long as they are proactive in it and there's no other cases in regards to that practitioner. As far as my personal intake on the readings this week and in preparation for this video, I really realized that something that I struggle with is taking care of myself. I usually tend to take care of everyone else and everything else before myself. It is something that I have been working on for a while now. I have seen personal growth, and I'm continuing to do so. for the sake of myself and my own health, but I do realize as a mental health counselor that this is something that I have to be very strict with myself on, and I know how important it is to care for myself in order to prevent harm from my clients or the profession or myself. Thank you for watching.